Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities, where we talk about living your passion, fulfilling your purpose, and exploring the possibilities. I am your money and mindset dream big coach and podcast host, Kenny Ingersoll. Hope everyone is doing well. Give me just a second while I get a few things tweaked and set up here. Just gotta make a few adjustments. So, hope everyone is doing well. As always, it's brought to you by, Kenny Ingersoll, IngersollEnterprises.com, and IngersollEnterprises.com. Got a lot of great things going on today, and a lot of great things going on coming up. So let's talk about that. IngersollEnterprises.com/events. As always, every Friday we come live with Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. And then every Monday, RJ Williams does a Wealth and Riches Zoom call training. So great information there. And next Wednesday on the 9th at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we have a money mindset workshop we are doing. So that's Wednesday the 9th at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, Money Mindset Workshop. And then on Saturday the 12th, we are doing a goal setting workshop. So again, get more information on that, find all the links, everything is IngersollEnterprises.com/events. Again, IngersollEnterprises.com/events. And then you could find all the data on there. Excuse me. Awesome. We have an awesome guest with us today, Rabin. Excuse me. Born and raised in New York, after working corporate America, doing enterprise sales at Oracle and Rapid7, he formed Premier Chess in September 2017. And Premier Chess currently runs programs in 100 plus schools and companies, including law firm Kramer Levin. He is a U.S. Chess National Master. Without further ado, let us bring on Evan. Evan, how are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having me today.
Great to have you on here. Thank you for taking time to be here. So, tell us a little bit more about that story with why chess.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I am a national chess master. I've been playing chess myself since I was 7. I've taught on and off since I was 12. And yes, as you said, I spent some time in corporate America, which was great, but really wanted to do my true passion of chess. And now we love teaching business and life lessons through the game to students of all ages and skill levels. Currently have 50 instructors on the team. And we run programs all around the country. And we love teaching business and life lessons through the game.
Awesome. So what kind of life lessons do you teach with chess?
So it really sort of runs the gamut. We teach a lot about judgment training, critical thinking, intuition. Of course, it also depends, on the audience as well. When it comes to, lawyers, for instance, we're teaching, judgment training, right? How to think on your feet. Most attorneys know the law in and out. Especially their area of law, but at the end of the day, every single case is actually different. So we also teach, for instance, how even if you've learned an opening, a whole bunch of times and you know it, quite well, it's still really important to, spend a lot of time at the board. and be able to adapt and always try to play essentially the best move.
I love that. Um, I I played chess a lot in elementary, junior high, and at that point I thought I was pretty good and stuff, and I enjoyed it. And I never really thought of it as a teaching tool for life lessons. Um, in junior high and into high school years, I got a little bit of the teaching lessons, specifically the, like you mentioned, the focus on the current moment, but think ahead as well at the same time. Excuse me. Because when I've played the game and when I've taught others, I've always told them you want to be thinking 5, 6, 7 moves ahead, and a couple different strategies ahead of where you are now. But I never thought of it beyond that as far as life lessons. But now, since you mentioned that, there are so many things, and I love how you brought that to the table. Of um, passion and life purposes with chess. Obviously, chess is your passion, and you can get so much connection with people that love playing chess. But it's on a deeper level than just chess. It could be, you could use it for coaching, like you said. You use it for other sorts of mentorship. Use it for examples, analogies, all that sort of stuff. And I love how we have so many passions. That's part of the reason why I started the show and why I named the show. Because I never thought, for me at least, that I could incorporate chess into a coaching program, and that could be a possibility. That even just stretched my mind just now. And that's part of why we have the show. That's why it's with and possibilities. Because what's possible. Oh, this person's doing this. What else can they do? What else can I do? What am I not thinking about? Am I only thinking 4 moves ahead instead of 8 or whatever? So I love how you did that, and you're able to put it into 100 plus schools and companies, and including law firms, and you related it to their practice and how they do that, and how everything seems, the same. The pieces, the way the pieces move never change, but the order and the opponent, if you will, and all those factors change. Like you said, at the end of the day, every case is different. But I love that. What was it like getting started? How did you get it into the schools and companies?
Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, look, an entrepreneur just actually reached out to me a few minutes before this interview. Um, and I gave her actually a very, very, quick, direct response. Um, you know, it's actually someone I barely know. We've been Facebook friends. Not someone I'm trying to help for free, right? Frankly, and she reached out to me saying, "Oh, I know you're in a lot of schools. How did you get into like schools? She's trying to set up tennis programs in schools." And um, I sent a very quick response. Because I honestly wasn't interested in talking much. And I said, really, just build school lists and reach out to principals. That is really all it is. Um, the more doors you knock, the more success you're going to have. So, yeah, in our first 4 months of the business, actually 2 months of the business back in 2017, we were in 14 schools. For just, reaching out to a lot of schools. That's all.
Awesome. So numbers game, and would you say you got out of your comfort zone in doing so?
I definitely did. And I think, look, there's this Jewish idea of chutzpah, right? You just have to reach out. My friend yesterday, Carlos Perdomo, who's been on my podcast, he owns a chess company, Chess Atlanta. He asked me, like, how did you get all these people recently? Like Maxime Legrave on my podcast, who was on it last week. He was, he was, he's the 7th highest rated chess player of all time. Or how did I get Michael Adams, who's a several-time British champion, on the podcast? Really, it's just reaching out. In a couple of weeks, I have the soon to be for the second time world championship candidate. Nippon Miyatsuki coming on, and again, it's all just reaching out. You never know, and just reach out, and things happen.
Yeah, and something else that I picked up on or read between the lines, if you will, is there's another avenue of business that you can do if you're not already. Not only teaching chess and how it relates to business there, but teaching people how to get into those things. For sports, like you said with the person of tennis. Um, I'm in the financial services, and as entrepreneurs, we not only have to know our business, what our business is, if it's finances, if it's haircutting, if it's auto detailing, whatever it is, but you also need to know how to operate a business. So there's a couple aspects.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I like how you could do the chess portion and then teaching people how to follow your example, if you will, to a degree of implementing their programs, and what you've learned, and you could turn that into a business and coaching on as part of your whole business platform. So again, the possibilities that many people don't consider or don't even think about when they first start a business or venture.
Yeah, and I think, look, that's part of the reason I have been successful. I've reached out to, look, I've have a lot of close relationships with other chess companies. One guy who I'm good friends with, I used to actually work for him. I remember like the first year of the business, I was already in 14 schools, I think maybe even 18 at that point. And he was like, look, I've been in this business for 8 years and I'm only in like 4 schools. And by the way, it's one thing I do want to make clear, honestly, is it's not just like the number of schools. We also have contracts that range from $2,000 up to $60,000 for the year. So if all of my schools were $60,000 contracts, sure, I would be doing a lot better than I'm doing now. Thank God I'm doing well, but I'm not a millionaire yet, but I would be if that was the case. So yeah, I again, you just got to be hungry. That's it.
Yeah, and not quitting and not letting it make you quit or deter you because you may not be where you thought you would be, or somebody else is a little bit more ahead of you, kind of thing. So I like how you
Yeah, and
pointed
I
that
and
out.
I have to say, one thing I'm actually very grateful to my dad for uh, is, look, when I was first starting the business, I don't even know why, uh, just a false mindset. I was like, look, every single school in New York that wants a chess program has one. Um, and I was thinking about it. Yes, there are, I'd say, a lot of chess companies in New York. Um, Contrary to popular belief, most people I meet, I say I run a chess business. They're like, "Wow, I didn't know it's an industry." Yeah, I can name you right now on the top of my head, 10 chess companies in New York, and I mean, for instance, in Atlanta, just take a random market. Just talking to my friend Carlos, who runs a chess company down there. Well, there's like 5 chess companies in Atlanta. 3 of the owners have been on my podcast, for instance. Carlos, this guy Justin Morrison, and I'm blanking out, unfortunately, on the other lady at the moment. But you get the idea, right? So there's a market, but at the same time, I remember, when I first started the business, um, I had very early on, I had a meeting with this guy, Mr. Perez at Jersey City Charter School, which now is one of our long-standing clients. Um, but I remember, like, I went into a meeting with him, and he was like, "Oh, thank you so much for reaching out." And I was used to cold calling in corporate America, like getting screamed at all the time, and he was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much for reaching out." And I even was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Yeah, I've never been reached out to about setting up a chess program." But the problem was so many chess companies were reaching out to the same 10 schools in New York over and over again, um, not even considering that literally across the river in Jersey City, so many schools haven't even been reached out to before.
Yeah, and that could lead to expansion. One going off to the channel that you thought may not be a good thing to follow or a good fit, or you judge them early, or you automatically disqualify them, turns out to be like one of your best revenues or your best connection channels and stuff. So I
Yeah,
like how
and that happened that happened in corporate too. I remember I was, at Rapid 7, there was this one client. It was such a county in upstate New York, and there were some notes in the CRM that basically said this guy was kind of wasting people's time, essentially looking for trials, free trials, things like that. And then I talked actually to the guy who had the account before, and he was like, "Evan, don't waste your time there." So I took it like for like pay at a little bit with a grain of salt. I figured, look, I call the guy once, and maybe never again. And sure enough, he was like, "Oh, I'm interested," blah, blah. And again, I took it with a grain of salt. And look, I didn't view him as my top lead. I didn't, communicate with them like all the time, but I stayed in touch, and every few weeks, let's say, I would reach out. Um, and then a few months later, he happened to get this like literally massive grant. We closed like a $40,000 deal. Um, and I remember even my manager was like, "I'm sorry," because he was telling me not to call this account. Basically, he was like, "It's always." I'm like, "Trust me," and sure enough, he was obviously very grateful when we closed the deal with this one last guy.
absolutely. So let's talk a little bit. You mentioned you had a wrong mindset or a different mindset when you first started. Would it be more of the competition versus collaboration, and how did that change your business when you made that switch and started that transition?
Yeah, well, that was another thing too. My one biggest issue actually with the chess world in general is so many just get way too competitive. They don't see the value of collaborating. So, for instance, I learned a lesson when I was at Oracle, because so we were on the hardware team, and basically a lot of hardware people didn't want to deal with software people, because the software people actually, in a way, wanted the clients to use non-Oracle hardware, because if they weren't going to use Oracle hardware, they were able to sell a lot more licenses. Just how like the financing works. So a lot of people would not work with the tech reps. They would be like, why are we going to work with them? Like they're going to ruin our deal. Um, and I remember there was
It seems like we lost him momentarily. Let's see if he jumps back on, and we'll continue our conversation. In the meantime, I'll just want to remind everyone of the events we got coming on. IngerCellEnterprises.com/events. Got a lot of things going on there. Then Wednesday and Saturday next week, we've got 2 workshops. I'm going to just do this. That way you can click on it directly. So yeah, check those out. We'll see if Evan gets back on here in a minute. If not, we will wrap up with that, and perhaps continue, have him back on later. Let's see here. So yeah, I'm just going to continue our conversation solo here. Now, if you have the competition mindset, you're going to see that everywhere. As a coach. Oh, here we go. We got Evan back on.
Yes, hi.
All right, welcome back.
Computer unfortunately died, but yeah. I remember, when I was at Oracle, people didn't want to, deal with tech, but there was a period where I was elaborating.
Your sound goes in and out.
Hello?
And we can still hear you.
Okay, great. I don't know
So if we have to continue without the video, we can do that. But
Okay, there we go. Okay, so basically, yeah, that I didn't really want to work with them when I wasn't doing so well, and I was communicating that I worked very closely with. He said,
it's still cutting out.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So the short answer, is to collaborate. From a lot of other chess companies, with other chess companies, it's helped our revenue.
No, it's still cutting out. Will it work without the video? Will that help, or do we need to? Evan, where can people find you if they wanted to learn more and get connected with you?
Evan at premierchess.com.
Evan at premierchess.com. All right, let me. Okay, so perfect. Thank you for that. So I dropped that in the chat. So if you want to connect with Evan, learn more about him. He's got some chess classes and whatever else programs he's got going on. Go to that website. And thank you for staying with us during the technical difficulties. Evan, thank you for being on. Technical difficulties happen. We live with them. We roll with them. We'll reschedule and do a continuation. So thank you for taking the time to be
I
here.
appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you being on, and you even opened my mind to more possibilities, and and exploring, how different passions can lead you down different paths and stuff. And so, say yes to life, because there's a lot of things to
Conquer
do. A lot
the
of
game.
things to say yes to. Sorry, what was that?
Absolutely. I said you're
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Awesome. So yeah,
you very much.
premierchess.com. So again, Evan, thank you, and everyone, thank you for tuning in. Remember to go to premierchess.com, and then also a reminder to IngersollEnterprises.com/events for everything coming up. And as always, remember to live your passion, fulfill your purpose, and explore those possibilities.